men's haul, specifically in the comments to show what I do with men's clothing, and also I think she asked where I got them from. So I have a few different things I want to talk to you about. First of all, I can only show you the stuff that works for me. I have a certain vibe to my closet that's more of a vintage style. I don't sell a whole lot of men's mainstream mall brand stuff. If you're looking for things like Express jeans and Old Navy and things like that, I'm not the person to learn that from. But I can tell you that I do sell a lot of men's items, and most of them are above $40. So if you're looking to learn how to pick up or what to pick up that is desirable to men, keep watching. Please comment below as I fix my pants. Also, if you can put a thumbs up, that would be really great. I am doing a mystery box giveaway of $150 value, and you get to choose what is in it. If you like here, subscribe here, and comment, the more active you are on the channel, the more likely you are to win that prize. I'm probably going to end up offering prizes along the way. I'm going to stop this when I reach 100 subscribers. That's my first goal. I'm a very goal-oriented person. Humility is not my strong suit, so I will come on here however I want, unshowered, wearing a beanie cap with a cashmere blazer, and basically whatever I want. And I don't care. I don't care that my studio isn't perfect yet, because I'm moving around on my second floor. All of my stuff has to be moved as we finish off sections. So you guys can judge my background and all of those things, but I still sell 200 items a month at the very least, so you probably shouldn't care about the aesthetics and actually watch. So, yeah, whatever. I'm kind of a jerk. So, the question was, can I describe what items I sell that are men's and where I pick them up? All right. There's an app if you are having a problem with sourcing. There's an app called Yard Sale. I learned a YouTuber named The Poetry of Nice. I learned a lot from her. I still watch her every single video. You should definitely subscribe to her after you're done watching my videos as I catch up to her. She's got a really beautiful English-British accent, and she actually works from home and has 3 kids at home. I think she homeschools or something. And she taught me so many things, one of which is the Yard Sale app. It's free, and then of course, like any other app, you can do add-ons. And the reason that I feel you should use the Yard Sale app if you're having a hard time with sourcing is that, well, depending on where you live, if you have yard sales year-round, Yard Sale app actually takes everything that's posted on Craigslist and sets it up for you on a map based on the descriptions and the specifications you put in. So if you want, for me, I really don't like to travel more than 10 or 15 miles away. So I will say, show me what yard sales are coming up. And you can, if you pay extra, you can get the whole week ahead, I believe. If not, then you just get the day of, I think. I paid extra and got the differentiation between what information you have access to and how you can plan based on if you would take the free app or an additional purchase. The free app is just fine. Another thing on there would be community church sales. They will post on Craigslist as well. Those are also sometimes, I mean, some of my greatest hits have been at community church sales. If you use Yelp, or if you use Google Maps, or if you're an iPhone person, just every time you're moving around and you have 20 minutes, you can put on your yard sale app if you have the 20 minutes and see what yard sales are around you in the area you're in, and just pop into something and just take a peek, see what's there. I have been given free things multiple times because people are done with their garage sale and they don't want to throw it away, or they just, you start conversations, and people, if depending on where you live, are generally really nice because people don't want to see things being thrown away, or they just want to avoid running it off to Goodwill or wherever they plan on sending it. Another good thing to mention is if you try to plan your yard sales to either go at the end of the day or go whenever you want, but make sure you come back again at the end of the day, you can possibly see if you can negotiate with people on what's left. I I will often tell people, whatever you have left, if I like the stuff they have, whatever you have left, why don't you take my card or my phone number and text me or call me, and I would come back and maybe give you, $30 and get it out of your hair or whatever it is that you can afford. I live in a place where we are seasonal. So during the winter time, of course, the yard sale app is not being utilized quite as much. I posted my own ad on Craigslist and Facebook and said that I was looking to buy clothing, accessories. An ad on Craigslist and said, hey, it's winter time, or hey, can't have a garage sale because you're busy or whatever. Call me, I buy in bulk. Most items I'm spending between whatever your dollar amount is that you're willing to spend on pieces. You have to give people a number of some sort so they have an idea of what they're going to get when you come. You don't want to say, hey, I buy in bulk, and these people are totally thinking like, buy in bulk, I can make $800. You want to make sure that you have expectations set. I talk about expectations all the time. People contacted me from 3 hours away. One person had, I have no idea and I don't care, they had a back truck bed full of clothes. And they said, people were willing to even send pictures ahead of time. To save you on wasting your time and theirs, you can ask, hey, do you mind sending me some pics? You can quickly just scan through and see, are you interested in putting that stuff in your store? You can also say, hey, looks like I'd probably spend blah, blah, blah on this amount of stuff. You can source that way. I think that's a really great sourcing alternative. It worked for me. What kind of things do I sell that are men's? I will tell you that I can't teach you all of it, and you're gonna have to watch a lot of YouTube videos. If you're looking to expand your men's market, not only on Poshmark but on eBay, I would recommend that you really don't learn everything here, because I can't give you a yap. Little Sandy dog. This is Sandy. She's my daughter got her. We have a big dog. I'm not a little dog person. She took a while for me to actually understand her, but that's Sandy. My daughter named her after Greece because she loves Sandy. Anyway, I'm going to start off with things that you don't want to thrift, because I have a box of men's, and being that I've experimented with men's stuff, I want to show you what actually I'm selling and what I am not selling, because let's tell you not what not to get, so you do not end up donating it like me. So this is one of my men's inventory boxes, and here's a pair of, I do not recommend that you pick up men's dress comfort shoes for very much money. These are actually like literally brand new. I mean, they had the tag and it fell off, but anyway, these are Born, and I think that Born is a great brand. Whatever reason, this style is just not moving for what I want for it. I thought I would be able to get $50 or something around there. It's, like I said, brand new black. I tagged it in my listing as work shoes. Hasn't sold. So don't pay up for it just because you know it's a good brand and it's brand new and you think, oh, well, I mean, this is a great size, it's an 11.5, and just don't pay up for something like this. If you can pick these types of things up for under $4, then absolutely pick it up. Depending on what you're looking for on return on investment, that's something that you would want to pick up. But do not spend $10 or $15 because you know Born is a great brand and this is brand new and da-da-da-da, unless it's something that's really, really trendy. This is not really trendy. There you go. If it were a Birkenstock, Doc Marten, Frye boot, which are starting to get saturated, be careful on Frye boots, it'd be a different story if it were one of those brands. I even had a pair of John Varvatos, which if you don't know men's brands, you need to learn about these things. You need to learn about men's brands. Watching videos like mine, watching other people's videos. John Varvatos is a designer to the stars. Howard Stern wears almost exclusively, last time I knew, John Varvatos clothes. It's kind of a hip punk rocky, I don't even know. I'm sure that Jet will correct me on this one. Where are you, Jet? Explain John Varvatos style in the comments, please. So anyway, John Varvatos I pick up. I had his shirt, which sold for a t-shirt, that said Van Halen, graphic tee. Sold for like $50. I had a John Varvatos blazer, which was like brand new condition, and it was a decent size. It wasn't out of the ordinary. It was black. It was, basic. That sat for quite some time, and I eventually took an offer. I still made a really good profit, but I was expecting that blazer to be like, I saw 3 John Varvatos pieces. I thought I hit the jackpot, So this t-shirt, obviously, I hit the jackpot on. I don't even think I paid $1. People don't, in these thrift stores, don't really know their brands, generally. Depends on where you are. The John Varvatos blazer, I still sold it. I don't know, I'd have to look back, but it was like in the $40 to $50 range. Again, still making plenty of money, but not what I expected. And John Varvatos shoes, they were beautiful, and they were on trend. They're a great size. I had the shoe thing, wood thing, cedars in them. They looked great. My photos were great. They sat for so long. I ended up taking an offer that probably was about 60% less than what I had expected. Still did not lose money on them, but you hear John Varvatos, you think, oh my God. You hear Kate Spade, oh my God. You hear, all these things. Kate Spade doesn't sell men's, but I'm trying to say there's certain brands that have name recognition that people go crazy over, and that doesn't necessarily mean shit. So, Born, any kind of comfort shoe, unless it's a Birkenstock, because that's just very hot, and Crocs are very hot right now. These are not something that you should go, oh my God, they're brand new, and I should go out and spend a lot of money on them. You'll lose, and you'll learn the lesson. So these, if I don't get rid of these like really soon, I'm just gonna donate them. I do not have like a bad juju thing in my brain, like this stuff sitting in here is bringing down the energy of my other stuff. I don't know. Sweater season. I have sold tons of vintage sweaters. Now, I will market them as men's sweaters, but I also noticed that a lot of women are buying vintage men's sweaters. So I will do both now. I cross-list in my own closet. Is it cheating? I don't think so. In my opinion, let me pull one out for instance. Sweater is a Coogie style sweater. Now, Coogie sells. If you see anything Coogie, is that how you say it? Coogie. I have no idea. C-O-O-G-I. I wasn't into that stuff when I was in the 90s, but I know what it looks like, and I know what it looks like. The clothing and the words. If you see a Coogie, somebody correct me, sweater of any kind, you should pick it up. They sell. This one is not actually the brand, but it's still the same style. Shockingly, and I think this is silk, whatever. Shockingly, it did not sell yet, and I sell a ton of sweaters. I think what happened was it was in the men's department as a small, and it's a small. Now, in a men's department for smalls, they're not really going to go very quickly. You got to be a little bit careful. A lot of people say don't worry about size. I agree with them. This sweater was free. I would have still taken it. But if you're in the thrift store and you see this and you're like, It wasn't until this week when I said to myself, I always look at my listings and try to put myself in the point of view of a buyer. I'm like, why are people passing this up? I know I have buyers. Why are they passing this up over an LL Bean wool one or those other monogrammed, weird, no brand vintage ones? This is vintage too. So what is the deal? And I decided to change it from the men's market to the women's. I also started to tag all of my oversized vintage sweaters as grandpa sweaters. I think I learned that one from Poetry of Nice. Don't know what I'm talking about when I mention Visco and Ariana Grande. You need to be Googling, take notes when you're watching YouTube videos. That's what I do. If you're serious about this, it's like any other business. If you're going to spend your money, then you need to educate yourself. If you're going to spend your money and your time and try and grow this. And my dad gave me a really good tip when I first started my business. I was like, my first business, I think I was 19 or 20. Yeah, I was 20. He says, Nicole, see this? Everything is business. See this pen? This pen is business. In your life as a business owner, every item around you, you think of as a business. And he's right. This is a business. This is a business. My I don't give a shit attitude, that's part of my business. That's my shtick. That's the way that either I attract people or I turn people away. Everything is business. So, when you're watching these YouTube videos and you are like, Nicole, what kind of men's things, blah, 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 blah. If you're not writing down, as I'm speaking, the specific brands or styles for you to Google later, you are wasting your right now for reseller content is YouTube. When you take notes during YouTube, then I think you should be Googling. I think that you should be looking on Instagram for what's trending at all times. When you're out and you're in a store, watch and see what these young people are wearing. It's that simple. You're going to learn when you look at a young guy or a young girl what items you should be sourcing. If you see that people are wearing skinny jeans only, attention to what's around you, it'll tell you what to source. But I try and stay a little bit ahead of that. So I don't want to get stuck with stuff, and that's where education of following trends closely, not just looking at people what they're wearing right now, because by the time it's mainstream, it's almost over usually. But I just want you to understand, it is a constant education. Write down all these things I'm mentioning to you. If you don't know what they mean, you need to Google them, become familiarized with them, so when you are outsourcing, you know what I'm talking about. People are buying anything that is hip-hop related, urban wear, streetwear, vintage, Adidas, oversized. I will sell tracksuits that are no name just because they're vintage and they look like an old 80s Run DMC suit, and I put that in my listing. I put Run DMC, hip-hop, urban, city wear. All of these words I put in my listing because there are people out there. If you go to Google and start searching or ask them, what are the most searched men's fashion terms or something, you're going to see it. If you go to big selling chain stores like Macy's website, you're going to see that they have these exact same terms in their listings of each item description, because that'll indicate to you what the trends are. We can work on a micro level by watching the macroeconomics and the macro marketing going on around us. You're basically getting all this marketing for free if you just pay attention to other people. Now, consider the fact that we are a little behind when we see it on Macy's, because Macy's is already working on, next summer and fall. Designers, not Macy's, but you know what I mean. Ways around you all the time to educate yourself, and you should be doing it more. Think better than most people. That's how you're going to do better than most people. Anyway, I'm sorry for the rant. So that is a for instance. One other thing I try to carry for men's is oversized, plus-sized items. Those seem to sell really well for me. If I find that I have, for instance, a pair of shorts that are a size, I think these are like 40, whatever, they're 48. Have something that on its own is not worth a man. Think like a man who's going to buy a pair of regular khaki shorts. This would be a man who's very large. Does he want to go online and buy just one pair of pants and spend the extra shipping and all those other things when he can just go on Amazon? No. So what I will do with things like this is oftentimes if I can source similar items together, like this pair of pants with the khaki counterpart. So now I have a navy and khaki bundle of a plus size man's pants. I will put those together, and almost always they sell. And they sell for my asking price because I'm pretty reasonable. If I have a bundle of, this happens to be Ralph Lauren, so I have the bundle of khaki and navy of these Ralph Lauren plus size pants, shorts actually. I listed these at $22 and they sold for the bundle. Now, when you're paying 25 cents for this, and you're paying 50 cents for the whole thing, that's a really good return. Same thing with bras. If I have a no-name bra that isn't very attractive on its own, I'm sorry, this is a men's video, but it would be with men's underwear. I mean, it would be with men's socks. It would be with, I've done it with men's ties. Lotting them together, if you can find like things, can help a lot in your sales. I do it with scrubs, men's or women's. If I can find the same size, same style, and same condition of different colors, or same colors, it doesn't matter, I had 4 pairs of koi scrubs. I bundled them, and they sold within, I think, 2 days for $48. So think like the potential buyer you're trying to market to. You have to work backwards, okay? That will help you so much when it comes to sourcing for anything. Okay, I haven't really cornered the market on jackets and blazers the way that I feel that Akil McLeod has, and I think that's because he does it on eBay a lot of the time. But I am a loyalist. I feel like I am going to be growing the men's market in Poshmark. If I go and sell on other platforms, yes, I may be able to make more moves, and I hate other platforms, by the way. Poshmark is the simplest platform to work on of all. The quality, okay? I mean, the quality is beautiful, and this one happened to be like brand new. But the brand, the actual tag itself reminds me of the movie Twilight. Anything I see that says Twilight, I pick up, because there are some hardcore Twilight fans out there. Just like Harry Potter. So I think it's because I'm on Poshmark. I'm going to be stubborn and stay here, even though I'm almost positive that I am losing on profits in the men's area sometimes. I know I'm making it up in other areas because I want to grow this platform. I want to grow the market of men's. I feel like the better the men's department gets, the more we're going to draw from eBay, and people are going to come, just like for women's, and start spending their money here. Men love the simplicity of shopping. Think about most men. Think about your market. This guy this guy who's buying these polo shorts, he does not love to go out and shop with his wife, okay? Or his wife is maybe, he doesn't care what he wears, and his wife's on here buying some other things for herself, and she's going to throw this in the bundle. Think like your potential buyer in order to market properly and what to source. Men's vintage jeans. Believe it or not, men really like dad jeans too. These are dad jean shorts. It doesn't matter the brand, you can market them off any brand. If they're vintage, you can just put vintage. If there's not anything to the brand itself, like this, these are Nevadas. There really doesn't exist in Nevada, like as far as people searching, typing in vintage Nevada shorts. They are typing in, however, vintage jean shorts. Vintage jeans are definitely something I sell a lot of. Calvin Klein's, $20, $20, $20, $20. If you see those high-waisted men's or women's, big patch on the back from the 80s and 90s, that say CK, you should pick them up if you can get them for a reasonable price. Expect them to go for about $20. It depends on how your closet's set up, of course, but I'm seeing horny, hot, hard, whatever. And it's made from Texas clay, the coloring. I thought that was interesting. Anytime I see something that's unique like this, there's a lot of like, you know, boho-y kind of people that like this kind of stuff. If it says organic cotton, buy it. No more said. If it says hemp, buy it. These people are looking for these specific materials, and they will pay for it. I do sell vintage jeans. Again, the person who asked me to discuss men's with them, I don't think she was expecting me to give her this kind of stuff, but these are vintage men's jeans. They are called Mavericks. They do go for a good amount of money, like depending on $40 and $50. These still have the tags, considering that would make them new with tags, but it's vintage. So really, in the vintage world, this is considered dead stock. They're no longer produced. The brand is no longer produced. The style is no longer produced, but it has a tag. It's considered dead stock. If you want to learn more about vintage, you definitely need to, because there's a lot of other things that make this more desirable and that you would be noting in your listing, like if it was union made. This one is a WPL piece. All of those things that go on labels that you can find on vintage pieces, if you indicate them in your listings, people are searching for WPL pieces. People are searching for union made. You have to learn a little bit more about it if you want to get into it. It makes a huge difference on pricing with Levi's. I mean, I've sold a Gucci tie. It was a vintage Gucci tie. I sold it for $100. I bought it for $1. So this one happens to be a vintage Fendi tie. This one's been sitting. The Gucci sat for a while too, to be honest with you. Men, Okay, this one's been sitting and I have it listed in the $30 range. I've been laying off of ties, but if it's got, you know, a designer luxury brand, I have to buy it. So like this is a Christian Dior. I find tons of Dior ties. I've sold a few of them. They're not a huge return, but they're a solid return. So if you don't mind the monotony of listing ties, I did it for way too long because I bought a huge box of ties and I think it was thousands, and I did it for way too long. I lost interest in ties altogether. But if you don't mind the monotony, you can find some ties like Brioni, anything that says Brioni. If you find anything that says Etro, E-T-R-O, you need to learn those brands. Those are things that you will often see in a large thrift store, like especially a Brioni or an Etro. They don't know those brands. So those are actually on the designer luxe list with ThredUp. ThredUp doesn't take men's, but the point I'm trying to make is those are designer luxury brands that people aren't really familiar with. So if you become familiar with brands that people are not really aware of, then you can go into a Goodwill and spot that. I've done it now many times. So familiarize yourself with those designer brands. If you need some help with that, then you can go on to ThredUp Luxe Designer List. They actually have a 6-page list. It's for women and children, but most of these designers, you know, do men and women. I'm sure you can also find on Poshmark the designer luxury brands that they have there. That would be a great place to go as well. So if you want to learn about luxury brands that you will be able to spot that other people miss because they don't, you know, these workers in Goodwill aren't familiar with everything. They think that a Kate Spade piece is expensive, valuable. They think that a Victoria's Secret, Nike, Adidas, they know the mainstream stuff generally. You're not going to find a lot of people working in a Goodwill that know those kind of designer brands. I live near New York City, so I do have access to a Goodwill where a lot of very, 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 very wealthy people donate. And you will find, I have found men's blue suede loafers that are, the name escapes me out, Giuseppe. You know the quality. You can tell that if it has a leather outsole and it's made, you know, in Italy, Spain, you can just feel it, you can tell, you can see it. Got them for $6. They're like $700. So I've gotten Burberry stuff, which is a little surprising, but I have in the smaller thrift stores. So learn your brands. Everybody pretty much knows Burberry, but the Giuseppes, no, they sat there. They were, people probably thought they were ugly because they were bright blue with these huge gold tassels, and I immediately loved them. Anyway, I sell men's vintage casual button-downs. Right now, these are not selling quickly because it's not in season, but these are things you can find rather inexpensive. And this one is actually, if you find anything that's got an Italian, real Italian type label like this, then you should be probably picking it up if you can get it for a decent amount. The material also matters, so check your material content. Anything that's a Hawaiian type tropical shirt, always, it just seems like it always sells. Can you see that? It has hula girls, I think, and when it comes time for men to start wanting this, which is pretty soon, the brand doesn't necessarily matter. It makes a difference, though. It can offer a premium to your shirt, but if you can find tropical or Hawaiian shirts right now in a bag sale in any thrift store for $5, and you can lay out a little bit of extra money now for the spring, I would be picking up anything that's Hawaiian in a bag sale for $5. Don't spend $5 per shirt, okay? That's not what I'm suggesting. Okay, blazers. If you have the money to lay out and you live in an area where you see a lot of stuff like me, I found 2 Harris Tweed blazers in different locations. Was I familiar with Harris Tweed when I saw it? No, I was not. But I just have an eye for this and a feel. And when you see this, you can tell, and I look at labels really fast. I go through racks real quick. I'm trying to find the Harris Tweed. Harris Tweed is right there. Now, all of you people that love to correct, like my dear friend Jet, probably know everything about Harris Tweed because she's been in vintage forever. But what I know is that Harris tweed is the material it's made out of, and it only comes from an island, one specific island out of Scotland. Just like champagne only comes from one region in France. So it has a premium attached to it if it's made out of Harris tweed, no matter what. Then go further, and then you have a designer label inside. So this one happens to be American Craftsman. That part doesn't 100% matter. If it's Harris tweed, you've got a premium right there. Make sure when you're buying anything wool that you do not see any significant amount of moth holes, or any if you can avoid them. If there are any moth holes, which is often the case, you will want to make sure that you are not spending even $2 on something like this. But I still pick up the ones that have a little bit of moth holes if I can get them really, really cheap, because people will buy them, okay? But you just got to be careful. This one has none. Check the lining whenever you're looking at any jacket or vintage piece, because you want to make sure that there's nothing that you can't that's embarrassing to disclose. Like oftentimes I've seen the lining of women's white vintage pants having like a yellowed crotch. You know, that's not really an easy seller. So these are things you want to look at. Men's lining will often have something going on in the armpits that you need to look at. Sometimes it's uncorrectable. Sometimes you can cut the liner out and disclose. It all depends on how much you spent on that piece and what you think you can get out of it. But anyway, if you see anything Harris tweed, that is the material content, not the maker. This is another one. They are very similar in how they're usually crafted. If you see anything, and there are also female things made out of Harris tweed, it's a material. It's just 100% wool that comes out of one specific island. Where can you see? Okay, this one's made, the brand is Taylor's Bench, whoever actually made this coat. But it always has the material stamp to let you know, just like this, that it's Harris tweed, just like the other one did.